Hey folks, welcome to another video on the 67 Stang channel. So on this one, we're going to continue kind of where we left off with the last one. We're going to be putting in the sound deadening material that I showed y'all in the last video, the Matte 66 stuff. So I thought, I said so a lot. Anyway, I thought I would go through first and kind of tell you the process as well as some of the tools I think I'm going to need, based on what was in the instructions, as well as some videos I found online as well. So we'll start with that. So if you're going to lay this down, by the way, this applies not just to the Matte 66, but if you're doing Dynamat, Kill Matte, or any other similar type product like this, then these tools should be ones that you will find useful. So first, they say to clean the car inside with degreaser, degreaser, whatnot, or something like some isopropyl alcohol. So I've got my isopropyl alcohol and a clean rag to do it. I've been told by others that have used these sound products not to use paper towel, I guess because it leaves stuff behind and whatnot. So, so I'm going to use a nice, well, a towel, not a nice one, but a towel and some isopropyl alcohol. It's going to help get any oils and stuff that remain. Pour 15 that I put down has had several days to cure, so it should be good and set, since it's almost been a week or so since we put that down. So that's the first set. Other thing is some sort of roller. Now they have at hardware stores these little rollers that are about this wide, hard plastic that you can use. I'm going to try to use this one that I found in the kitchen. Don't tell my wife, please. Shh, don't tell her I'm using some of her kitchen stuff. But I figure this will work just as well to roll this stuff in. Also, in that regard, I saw somebody talk about to get things in the grooves stuff that are kind of like right here and back here, whatnot. You probably can't see those, but having like a rounded head screwdriver type thing to push it in, not cram and rip it in, but kind of push it into those grooves to get a good tight fit is recommended. So I got that, not to use this end, but to use this end. Then, of course, to cut, I've got several cutting utensils. I'm not sure what's going to be best. The box says to use something like this, or a razor blade, but I've also got some scissors, and I've got some tin snip type thing. So not sure which of these will work best. We'll find out, but cutting things. And then again, to help if I need any straight lines cut, a square. I'm also going to get one of my silver Sharpies so I can mark where I need to cut. So I got to get that. I realized I left that over there. So that's the tools that I'm going to be using. So let me now bring you in and kind of talk about my plan, and then we'll get things started. So let me bring you on in here. Okay, so my plan, based on things I'd seen on the internet, is to kind of start here at the seat riser and lay that out and get that kind of as the center point going both forward and backwards, and coming up that way, then doing this side, and then the last thing I'll worry about is this transmission tunnel. So I've also been told that I should try to avoid overlapping these pieces as much as possible. So what I'll do is start on that far edge, kind of lay out a few tiles, and then see what I think is going to be the best kind of general pattern to get the most efficient fit in there, and kind of go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a box over here, lay out some tiles on that side, and see how I think that's gonna go. Okay, so I've started where I said I was going to, got my first sheet down. Now, one thing I forgot is to do kind of a test on the sound of the metal before I put all this down, giving it a little knock. Of course, I'm sitting on it, so this is probably not the best test, but let's go ahead and so that's kind of what it sounds like now. with that. So we'll see how that goes. Now, as I told you, I got the one piece in here, the one sheet, and what I was talking about with the screwdriver was you can see the contour right here. So I've just been running the screwdriver, the rounded end of it, kind of along that contour to make sure we've got good adhesion, and then into these little divots, right? So if you look over here, you can see there's those divots and ridges or whatever in there. So I'm just trying to make sure that this follows, because the better contact with the metal this has, the better it's going to stop the noise. So and then I'm coming back on the flat areas and hitting it with my roller to just try to get it in on there as best as I can. Get good adhesion onto parts. Now any place where if you want to also use this to kind of seal up, keep spill, then you can also come back with some aluminum tape on the seams between the various panels to add to seal it up a little better. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that, since I do have the Pour 15 in there and my carpet has the rubber mat. But I'm going to keep on going, so I'll update you a little bit as I go along. I don't think you need to sit here and watch me keep putting all this stuff in. But anyway, we'll keep going. Okay, so I've laid down a few more sheets. Now I've got most of the seat riser covered. The other thing I've been doing is with that screwdriver, actually using the pointy end to go ahead and punch out the holes for where the seat is going to mount. So go ahead and do that. That would apply not just to the seat holes, but any other holes like the seat belt, holes like, where's it at? Right there for the seat belts, and get into back here, any of the other mounting holes for that kind of hardware. You want to make sure you're paying attention to where those go. And to me, it makes sense to go ahead and take care of those now. So I'm just punching through. Now for the seats, just punching through is okay. For the seat belts, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, because those are threaded. And I got to make sure this stuff doesn't go into the thread. So I may have to do a little trimming onto that, or take a look. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But so far, my plan seems to be working. And I did forget, so I did wipe all of this down with the isopropyl alcohol. Now that I'm getting up to that part, I'm going to do that part with the alcohol. Just do a little bit at a time as I go forward. And again, just using the screwdriver once again to get into these, because this stuff with the rubber backing, it does stretch a little bit. Not too much. I mean, you don't expect it to go like super far stretch, but you can see just laying that in there just gets in there good. So anyway, we're going to keep going. Okay, quick little update. I'm continuing to make some good progress. There's my big leg. So what I'm doing is trying to use or get as many areas where I can use full sheets as possible. And then I'm going to come back in and fit in areas where I can't use the full sheets. Now, I think you're getting some glare back there from my other light. Let's see if I can turn it so it's not so glary. Well, maybe not. Oh, that's better. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing, trying to use full sheets. The other thing is, this doesn't have to be perfect. At least not in my case, because I'm not using it really as a sealer, just a sound barrier, because I got the Pour 15 down. So if I've got little gaps right there, I'm not that worried, because again, I can come back with that aluminum tape if I want to and get those. I mean, again, the car never had anything like this to start with, so anything is better than nothing. So anyway, I'm going to keep going at it. Just wanted to share those little things. Oh, I should add that I've been putting this thing down. You can see I've got a good chunk of the car, probably a third or more of the car inside done, floors anyway. And the smell that was complained about on the Amazon page or link for the stuff, I haven't found it. I haven't had one problem with odor. Now it could be that it's overridden by there's still the faint odor where I did the POR 15 and stuff, but anyway, it's not too bad to me. So I don't know where the odor problem was that I saw on Amazon was complaining about. But anyway, gonna get back at it. Okay, so progress continues to be made. Got all the back except for the wheel wells done. Most all of that side. We'll say this, it would be a lot easier if I didn't have the old firewall pad still there, but I do. So there's only as far up as I can go with that, but that's again okay. So now I'm getting started on the driver's side. Lessons learned, well, you're going to end up with overlap in spots, just going to happen. Don't fret it too much. Again, everything doesn't have to be perfect. Again, this is just sound and deadener, and to give you an idea of the difference it's making, let me hold on. Okay, so again, we tap that. Oh, let me do that with the screwdriver since that's what I did with it earlier. All right, so go over here. Pretty big difference. So yeah, this stuff does make a difference, certainly on the sound. So anyway, I'm going to keep on trucking along. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the wheel wells and stuff yet. But I'm not even through a whole box of this stuff yet. I'm mostly through a full box, but you can see the coverage that I've gotten with almost a full box. So you could probably do most all of the inside with a single box. Certainly two, if you were just doing the floors, would be enough. So I'm going a little bit more. But anyway, again, I'm going to get back at it. Okay, so I've finally reached the end of a box. So you can get some idea of the coverage you will get out of the 36 square feet, which is in a single box. See, there's all that coming around that side. You'll notice I haven't got the back part of the seat riser right there, but anyway, you get it. Up that, over here, down. And then this is the driver's side. There's the seat riser, and there we get into the floor pan area, the driver's side. So that gives you some idea of how much 36 square feet will cover. So still got a lot to do. I will now show y'all what it looks like when it's done, or at least as done as I'm going to get it. I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to go. So I haven't decided about my wheel wells yet, or how far up on these edges I'm going to go, and all that. So anyway, we can get back at it. Okay, folks, we're done putting in the sound deadener. We got pretty much everything covered. Back behind where the rear seat was, or will be rather, up the toe boards, even up on some of those side panels. I'm going to put more of this stuff on the actual kick panel that goes in place there to help that. Got the tunnel in. Everything is covered. So let's flip you around here and get where I can talk about some lessons learned and whatnot. So stuff went on pretty well. The MAT 66, I'm very happy with the installation process. It's pretty straightforward and easy. I mean, it's sticky. Right? It's not hard. Right? Peel the backing off, stick it in. The roller helps a lot. So did the screwdriver, as well as I ended up using the handles on my scissors to get into some of the tighter, smaller grooves there. So that worked out pretty well. Happy with the way that went. We'll tell you that backing, it tends to spread out a bit, so I can tell you that's where probably some of the aluminum tape, I didn't have any, would come in handy, is kind of getting into some of those things where it's oozing out a bit, because I did notice I got stuff stuck to my backside of my pants and some to my shirt. In little pieces you cut off, the backing will come off, and if you don't pay attention, I got it into my shoes. I actually had to clean off the bottom of my shoes, because everywhere I walked it was like, walking on fly paper. Sticky, sticky, sticky. So didn't want to track that around, so I did that. Also, things I learned is I ended up using pretty much scissors to cut. I did use the razor blade a good bit too, but mostly to cut shapes and whatnot out, I was using scissors. That the sticky backing on there will get all over the scissors, and I would have to stop periodically and use acetone, or that's what I was using, acetone, to clean off the scissor blades to get some of that gooey stuff off. Not a big deal, but just something to know. Let's see, what else could I help tell you that you might find beneficial? Well, don't worry about perfection. Once I quit trying to worry about perfection, like trying to make sure the logo and all that was always facing the same way and all that, it became a much easier process. Hopefully my wife doesn't look at it, because she's anal retentive about things like that, but I figured the carpet will be over it, so who cares? Let me see. Let me take you a couple of. So, in addition to things like, let's see, the seat holes right there, right? You need to watch out for things like, in this case, for my automatic transmission, you've got a ground, which is there for the light. So you don't want to cover up, the ground, or cover up the metal so it doesn't ground properly. So you want to make sure you take care of those kind of things. You see, I did that. I also had forgotten, I hadn't installed my bright switch yet from where I redid the wire harness, so I had to go put that back in again so that I didn't lose those holes. Now, if you'd done a complete new floorboard, toe board, I don't think those holes would have already been there. I think you have to drill those out or use self-tapping screws for that. So it wouldn't be an issue there, but for me, I wanted to make sure I got those in place. So I put that in first, as well as that the connector that goes onto the bright switch is, it's down there dead on the floor. You're not gonna be able to easily get something under there. So if you put the switch like I did back down directly on the metal, you're going to put that in and go around it too. So something I did there. I also used, on these sides, again, because I'm going to have more of the stuff on the kick panel, I just used some scraps on these side panels. Also, not knowing the thickness and whatnot with the kick panel, I didn't go over the whole thing. I can always come back. I've got plenty of material, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I also did scraps over here on these side panels where the side windows, those little triangular windows are, making sure I didn't cover up any bolts or holes that might be needed for access at all. So I did that. I did get the whole wheel well covered in, all of those things. So the stuff is very forgiving. Again, I didn't worry about perfect shapes. It does bend and stretch enough that if you're not dead on, it's okay. Again, remember, this is just sound deadening, and if I am hitting on these things, it does make a big difference from the real ringy metallic sound that we had before. So flip you back. And again, put you back down here so I can hold you more steady. So again, like the product, Mat 66 so far seems to be pretty good quality wise, and there were little dimples on the outside of it in the shape of squares, which made it easier to cut straighter lines, which was nice. Took me a second to realize that, but I did. That was good. What else can I think about to tell you? It took 1 and maybe a quarter box to do the inside, all of that you saw. So I've got plenty to do the trunk, and probably we'll have extra for other things. I don't know. May try to put some inside the doors, back inside this part back in here too. I don't know. We'll see. With the windows in, and I don't really want to pull the windows out. It's going to be more difficult, but we'll see. I got plenty of material. So as far as time, it probably took me a full day because I started yesterday afternoon. At around, when did I start yesterday afternoon? 3:30-ish. Worked till about, what time did I work till? 7:30-ish last night. And then I got up and started just at noon today, and really was finished up at about 4 o'clock. So that gives you some idea of the amount of time it takes to do this. And again, I did a lot more than a lot of folks would have probably done. So with that, guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. The floors have never looked better in this car, I don't think, since they came from the factory. Of course, we still got the carpet to put in. That'll be my next thing to do. Now that I have the switch in there for the brights, also got to do the wiring on the rest of the car, finish all that up, get the gauge cluster in. Now, something else I've been thinking about doing is, in doing I'm trying to show you up my nose, but the wiring, I got to pull this out and pull the wire harness out of the steering column, but also started noticing little cracks and things in here. You know, the steering wheel itself is in pretty good shape, and this is the original one, so I've thought about trying to repair some of this and restore this. So if anybody got any good ideas on how to do that, please let me know. Leave that down in the comments. But we've done. The floors are almost done. Get the carpet in, and they'll be done. And just figuring out what to do next. So anyway, that again, thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Last time I checked, we were at like 97 subscribers, so almost to 100. Yay! Very excited about that. So anyway, with that, guys, look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Bye. So here's a quick little preview of what the carpet will look like in the car.